Hello and welcome to the Final Flight podcast. We are here again tonight and the flat is back. We've got Joe, usually, who's here tonight. Are you ready for it, Joe?
Yeah, mate, can't wait. It's the start, isn't it? The start of the good side of racing.
It certainly is, mate. And we have Rich, a special guest. He's definitely going to be joining us a few more times as the flat season goes over. Welcome, Rich. Are you ready for the flat, mate?
Oh, can't wait. Love it. Thanks for having me again.
No worries, mate. I'm glad to have you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little preview of Newmarket and a few other bits and bobs. The Guineas weekend, obviously, we're ready to get stuck into it, and we're gonna literally dive straight in. The jumps is done with. We've had a good time. We are ready for the flat, so we're going to dive straight in. For my screen would it's not. At 150 at Newmarket tomorrow, the Bet365 Mile, which is the race that we're looking forward to. So, Joe, I'm going to let you kick us off, mate. Newmarket tomorrow at 150. Take it away, mate.
So, my pick, well, it's at the top of the market at the minute, is Native Trail. Now, last season he finished off and they sort of stepped him up to 1 mile 2, which he didn't run bad, but I didn't think he set it alight, and I wasn't certain it suited him. He ran at Sandown and he looked to have a nice run. And then he tried another crack at York and he didn't just quite get home. And that was over the extended 1 mile 2. He's back at a mile today. Now, he only was beat once over a mile, and that was at Newmarket. And he arguably didn't get the best of runs in it. He finished half a length to Caribus, which isn't bad form at all. For me, you're gambling here on, is he fit and will he suit the step down as such? I think he will. And, looking at the rest, light infantry, I'm not a fan of Jamie Spencer at all. I don't like him as a jockey. Mutta Sarbek, they've tried blinkers on him and stuff. Unlucky in the race, actually, in 2022. But I just think Godolphin have got one sort of a class above here. And I think Native Trail will take all the beating if he's back to what he was back at a mile.
Nice, Joe. Would you agree on that? Would you agree with that one, Rich?
Yeah, he's my selection too. Again, I've got down Jots back to a mile, where his form's 1-2-1. Obviously, he won the Craven at Newmarket and the Irish 2000. So yeah, I think stepping back is a positive. It's also going to be his first one back since a wind-up, which I think normally brings out a little bit of improvement. So I just can't see past him, to be honest.
Yeah, and also I think the ground good to firm will definitely suit. I think this horse is all about speed, to be honest. And like I say, a lot of people, I think, I'd say William Buick hasn't had the best start. He's took a lot of stick, but I think he's still operating at a good, good percentage. I think it's 22% in the last 2 weeks. You can't knock that. And, Godolphin at these big sort of festivals, as you like, they take a world of beating, don't they? And like Rich said there, a wind up, that just shows, dropped him in here. I think he's going to be a class above.
He's technically a Group 1 horse running a Group 2. So.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm just going to touch on it quickly. We had Bradsell the other day running, and he didn't look. I was counting my money after the second furlong pole. I think with this one here, the step back and trip suits because he's run over 1 mile 2. It's not all about is he fit? Is he gonna? It's not going to stretch him the 1 mile. I think it's perfect for him.
I can't believe he's not odds on, personally.
I know, same.
Yeah, I probably agree with all your lads' points there, to be fair. I did quite like that Mutta Sarbek, but it was a little bit of an each-way price earlier in the week, but it's kind of been a little bit more backed in now. And I think, like you say, 6-5, 7-2, I think Native Trail's probably the likely winner. I would have maybe took him on with Mutta Sarbek each way, but the price each way is gone now. So I think I'll just pile into Native Trail with you guys, because I do agree the drop back in trip should be spot on for him. So I think he's going to take all the beating as well. That's a full house in the first race. Not a bad start.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
Right, we'll move swiftly on to the Jockey Club Stakes, the 335. And in here, you've got West Wind Blows as favourite, Hurricane Lane just in behind him, Global Storm Outbox, and Jewel in My Crown, another small field. So, Rich, I'm going to come to you this time, the first one up. Let's see your selection for this, if you've got one.
So I landed on Hurricane Lane, which is a bit like last chance saloon for me. If you don't win this, he's not going to win another race. So I've had a look through it. The favourite every time he's ran over the distance came 6th and 9th. So I don't think the trip's going to suit him. The rep said on his last run that he didn't like the ground, which I think he's talking nonsense there because he's won good to soft. But the jockey did say he hung right and stopped quickly. And then afterwards, the vet did say he was lame. So I'm going to write that down as an excuse of worthy note and hopefully give him one last chance.
Yeah, something seemed a little bit amiss with that opening run, didn't it? How he just ran no race at all, really. And like you say, the excuses have come out. And but I do think it's going to be. It would take something. I mean, he's not going to have my money on him. I think after that, I'd like to see him run well again. Obviously, come back to form. It's a short price to take. And to be honest, I think it's one of them where I'd probably maybe take him on with the other favourite. But again, having two short price favourites. One's bombed out, one's you're a bit unsure. It's a tough one to call, really. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, like I say, I would. Hurricane Lane seems to have gone out to second favourite now. For me, I think the Godolphin team have put him in this race, like Rich said, as sort of last chance alone here. He needs to win. I think they know there's a horse in there. That's why they've put the headgear on. I think because they're thinking, we can see something. We're not quite getting it on the track. What can we sort of do now? I think they've put him in here. Like I say, he should be winning. He's got a run. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't ideal, but he's fit. Anything. He won't be getting my money. He's got my tip up here, as you like, but it's probably more of a watching race for me, especially as Jamie Spencer's on the favourite as well.
I think that Buick picking this one over the other Godolphin one also means that they must be showing something at home.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the thing. It's always like what Joe. I spoke to Joe today a little bit about the Augusta Rodin situation with the jockey bookings. It's always interesting to see who picks who, and Buick's obviously the main man, and he's stuck with Hurricane Lane, and so it'd be very interesting. Obviously, it'd be nice to see him bounce back and crack on with the season, but I do think it's a big ask after that such a bad run last time out. Like I say, I think West Wind Blows probably does want the ground a little bit better than his previous form, so he's probably going to go close. I do think it'll be a tight one to call. And like I say, it's not much of a betting prospect, but it'll be a nice race to watch, I think, on the day. So yeah, that's Hurricane Lane for Rich. And have you guys got anything else for Friday? Also, obviously, they're the only two group races we're going to look at for Friday before we get cracked into the main ones on the weekend. If you've got any other mentions for Friday, speak up now, lads.
Rich, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I've got a couple, but I don't think there'll be any sort of price. The two I've noted down are the Goodwood.
Punter is here. The Muggy Punter is here.
Potentially ones for the season ahead. So we've got Goodwood, 1405 Time Lock is one I've got in the tracker. Next, second to Haskoy, finished fourth in the St. Ledger, which I think is good form. Also, second to, I want to pronounce this, is it Mimiku? Who's then won a Group 2 at Doncaster. So I think that's quite nice form, and I think he'll be winning some good races. The second one I've gone is Newmarket 1645 Infinite Cosmos. Had a shocking start at Doncaster last time out, but still managed to finish second, closing all the way down to the line, but just didn't get there. And as a result, the winner has then gone on and was second in a Group 2 in St. Cloud. So I think, again, one to watch, and probably they're good form lines.
I like it. Have you got any Joe then to add to those nice sounding selections? I've heard of that Cosmos one. I do think that's got a really good chance. I like that. Like you say, I don't know what sort of price it'll be, but I've heard good vibes about it, and the last run was pretty eye catching. So have you got anything to add to that, Joe?
Yeah, mate, I've got two. One for tomorrow, and it's all one for two track for the season. It's had a lot of money. Ethan Dunn at Goodwood in the half one. It's starting off over 5 furlongs. It's been absolutely hammered. It's Eve Horton and Charles Bishop who've been absolutely flying with the 2-year-olds first time out this season. Like I say, it's bred to go further. It's over 5 furlong in a Class 2. So it looks like it may go on because it started off at 3-1. It's already into 11-8 now. But one I will keep an eye on, and I will keep an eye on when they step it up in trip, because I imagine if he doesn't win, he'll definitely be closing, and he should have a bit of speed on his side. The other one I'm going to go for is the first race at Newmarket, and it is the Ryan Moore, Michael Stout Circle of Fire. Now,
we love Ryan.
Started off at 7-1. It's an 11-2 now. Now this race doesn't say anything, scream anything special for me at the moment. But the way he won his last day, you're certain over 1 mile, good to firm, so he's got the ground he wanted against the Appleby horse, Tabaretta, looked pretty special and easy. Now, Michael Stout is absolutely flying again at the start of the season. Ryan Moore, 31%. He should run well, and he looks like he could be a Derby type, so I'm looking forward to him, and I have pinned him for the Derby because he's at 50-1 now.
That is a tasty little nugget there. If he runs well tomorrow and wins, I don't think that 50-1 will be around for long if he does. I like those little selections there from both here. I'm excited to see how they all get on tomorrow. Right then, we're going to move on to Saturday, and the first race we're going to do is Newmarket, 4 o'clock, the Howden Palace House Stakes. And in here we've got Twilight Calls, we've got Manakan, Live the Dream, Razel, and 11-1 the rest. Have we got a selection in here? Joe, take it away, mate. Have you picked one out for this race?
I've got a bit of an interesting one, to be honest, mate. I'll tell you who I've gone for, and he didn't run that well the last day, but it was over a longer trip, and he's back in, and it's Silky Wilkie. Danny Tudor, I actually do really like him as a jockey. Now, he won a handicap at Musselburgh by 4 lengths, and he won very easily and very impressively. And there were some good horses in that race, Come From the Dark, Widminster, Zarinsky, who is well known for his handicap runs. And then he went to Newmarket over the 6 furlong and just didn't seem to get home. Nothing went right for him. And that was in a Group 3. Now they've brought him back in trip in Group 3 company. I was at Royal Ascot as well when Twilight Calls ran. He's at 3-1 in this race. I think he's going to be tap for toy definitely at the start. I think he needs 6 to 7 furlongs. Although he has the form with the nature strip, he still, for me, needs a run, and he also needs a step up in trip.
Very interesting. I like it. Rich, would you like to add your selection?
Yeah, so mine is Manakan for John Ryan. Won a Group 3 at Dundalk last time over the same distance. I think afterwards the trainer said this horse is all about speed, so the trip should be right up his street. Twilight Calls, I thought was going to be a big danger running the Group 1 at King's Stand, but I kind of landed on this one as one for the future. A horse that could be going places for the big sprints further down the line. So yeah, that's why I've gone for that. But also the trends, I looked at some of the trends. I think you did as well. You can talk about them if you want. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pile in with Rich here. I think Manakan's the one to be on. I think I really like this horse. Dettori's taking the ride. I think Dettori likes these types, these speed types. You can just sort of sit there, let them fly along. And I do think this one's got a really good chance. I do quite like Joe's each way shout. I think he's a good price there. But I think Manakan, we sort of went through a few of the trends, and he was coming out on top. So, but like you said there, Rich, I thought his Dundalk run was good, and I thought the Ascot run was pretty good as well. And he just seems to be getting a little bit better as he goes. Obviously, it was a Group 3 last time out, and I think that shows a good level of form. And I think he could take this, like Joe says there, with Twilight Calls. I do think he could be a little bit tap for toe in this. I think he'll struggle to keep up with the speed of these. I mean, it's currently good to firm. I know there's sort of showers predicted, but I don't think they're going to get as much as they think, because obviously they said today they're watering, so that's interesting. Are we going to get a Cheltenham 2.0 where they water it and the monsoon comes and it turns into a bog? I doubt it with a flat. But no, I think I'm going to go with you, Rich, and I'm going to go for Manakan as well.
Yeah, just one last thing on the form lines. The second of the Group 3 race has then finished second in a Group 2 in Maidan, so potentially it's got some substance to it, the form.
Well, like you say, that shows that there could be a little bit of an improvement at a higher level for this horse. So let's hope that is the case, and hopefully Joe comes second. Right, lads, the big one on Saturday, the 2,000 guineas, and the one that we're all looking forward to, the 440 Newmarket. We all know who's going to win, or do we? This is going to be interesting. I'm going to let Joe go first because I think we have put an anti-post tip up earlier in the week. So I'm going to let Joe take the reins on this one and tell us why it's going to absolutely bolt up.
Augusta Rodin will absolutely bolt up for me, mate. I just think Aiden's always spoke about him as, the best in the yard. Now, like we read the trends, didn't we? And the form for horses who haven't run over a mile is poor. Now, for me, Little Big Bear should not run here. He won't get home. Now, Chaldine, the last day for me was very, very strange. The way Frankie went off the horse, something wasn't right there. And, Chaldine's the same as well, only ran over the 7. Now, Augusta Rodin beat Adler, who come out and franked the form, won over in Ireland, and he won pretty well as well. He won pretty snug. And then he also, last run of last season, he was on heavy ground. Now, Aidan said after that race, heavy ground did not suit him. Everything went wrong, really, in the race, and he still ended up winning pretty snug. Now, the horse in second, Epictetus, I think that's how you pronounce it, has come out and won. He's already won a Group 1 over a mile. He's a classy horse. He looks well balanced. For me, nothing in here. If he is going to go win the Derby, should be troubling him.
Yeah, I think I do think he's got a massive chance. My only sort of question mark now, after hearing about sort of the forecast and things, is the ground going to be a little bit too quick for Augusta Road? And obviously, as mentioned, maybe that it will handle the good ground, but it just depends how fast it is actually going to be. How much would the watering affect it? Do you know what I mean? Can they keep it good ground and not too good to firm? Would that affect him and play into the hands of the likes of Little Big Bear? And the other one that I sort of like at an each way price is probably that Sakia. I think he's got a decent little chance. I think he'd probably be my each way pick if it stays good or gets any better than good. If it's good to firm, I'd be all over him. I think he's fast and he can stay. And I do think that we could see maybe Augusta Road turned over only if the ground comes up sort of good to firm. If it's good, any sort of good to soft, I think he's probably definitely the one to beat. What do you think,
Who was
Rich?
that? Sorry, you said you liked at price.
Sakia.
Yeah. Not for me. It's just obviously, the trends are showing up that the horses need to have run over a mile. Now, I just, for me, is he the only horse who's run over a mile? Or one of them?
One of them. Silver Knots ran over a mile.
But you look at Chaldine, who everyone's sort of screaming about after before his last run. But for me, I just think Augusta Rodin's a class of run. But we will find out. I may have egg on my face. I might not be showing my face again. Rich, what are you saying?
What do you think, Nick? What's your call?
For me, it's all about the ground. It's all about the ground for me. I think if it's soft, then the favourite has got a cracking chance. However, I don't think they're going to get as much rain as they think. So my two are Little Big Bear and Silver Knot. Little Big Bear, top 2-year-old last year, won the Phoenix by 7 lengths. And as soon as I saw that, I was straight in anti-post, 2,000 guineas. Thank you very much, 14-1. I've kind of dug into his breeding a little bit because people are saying, he'll not get the mile. He's more of a sprinter. But if you look into it, he's got the same sire as Wichita, who finished the next second in the 2,000 guineas. He's related to Alcohol Free, who got the 1 mile Coronation Stakes and did run in the 1,000, but I don't think she was fully tuned up for that. And one more relation, he's also a half brother to a Appleby horse that he's got, American Graffiti, who's a 3-time winner over 1 mile 2. So I think he will get the trip. I think he's all about speed, and I think if it's good, he will just blast past everybody. So that's my first selection. Second selection, Silver Knot, each way. Again, he's got Newmarket experience. He's run over a mile. His form does tie in with the same form as the favourite. Is it? I think Joe said it better than me.
Epictetus.
Yes, the one. Obviously, he bombed out in the same race as Chaldine, but I think the soft ground definitely came into play there. So any soft, I don't think he's got a chance. But I think it's going to stay good, and I think those two have got a cracking chance.
Can you just repeat your first selection for me? I'm having a couple of Wi-Fi issues my end, and it just cut out a little bit there. What was your first selection again, sorry?
Little Big Bear.
Little Big Bear, that's the one. So we've got one for Little Big Bear, one for Augusta Rodin. Well, two for Augusta Rodin, really. I think he'll win, but I do think a little each way, a couple of quid each way. I'd have Sakia, but yeah. Augusta Rodin, steam training, rolling through the what am I trying to say? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Right, so what we're going to do, so that's 2,000 guineas done. And the big race on the Saturday. Have you got anything else for the Saturday? Believe it or not, I have two for the Saturday. I bet you can't believe that, but I've picked out another two.
I'll let you kick it off then, James.
I'm going to kick us off. So my first selection for Saturday is running at Goodwood in the 155, the listed race for a mile, and it's an horse called Araminta. And I quite like this one. She gets plenty of weight off the field. She looks a really nice type. And I've done also a bit of breeding here. Rich, you'll be impressed by this, but she's a daughter of a Group 3 winner. How about that? And she had a nice win first time out at Newbury. It's a very inexperienced start, sort of fell out the stall, slowly away, held up out the back, a little bit green. And she's come on and won really impressively. And I think the step up to a mile is going to suit them as well. So I really like this type for Saturday. I'm just double checking. That's the 115. The 155, sorry. And it's Trevor Whelan on board, Henry Candy. But yeah, I think she's going to go and win. She's getting weight. She's improving type. I think she's going to go win. So that's my first selection for Saturday. And my second selection isn't even in the UK or Ireland.
I think we've got the same one, potentially.
So we're going all the way over to the US of A for the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, it's a massive race, and I've got one in here, and I think I know which one Rich is going to go for, even though we haven't spoken about this, but I'm going to go for an each-way priced player here, and you can get around 7-8 to 1, and the one I'm going to put up for is Angel of Empire. I think this horse is going to have a really good chance. I think he was massively impressive the last two times. Auckland Park, it was fast-going, Group 1. He's come and he's won it easy, 4.5 length win. He's he's held up in the rear, travelled like a dream, made headway and just gone and win. And I think this horse has got a massive, massive chance. I understand that Forte, the unbeaten horse, is an absolute aeroplane, but I do think an each-way price, I think Angel of Empire is going to get pretty close and push him all the way, and it's going to be a tasty race. I know Tapit Trice is also in there, obviously the top three. I can't see it not being one of them. And I think at the prices, I'm going to take Angel of Empire. So that's my two to note for Saturday. The Kentucky Derby winner has just been announced. So yeah, go for it, Rich. What are yours?
Well, mine wasn't in that race. Mine was actually at Belmont Park. And it's Ottoman Fleet is out over in the States.
Ottoman Fleet for us, one for the Trends. What a winner that was. I think we backed it 3-1. It went off a very short price and bolted up. What's happening? Is he running in Belmont?
At Belmont Park. Sorry?
Is that in the Fort Mercy?
It might be.
The grid
956.
Yeah, the grade 2.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
So that's my first one. The second one is at Nace, 1710. Sandy Creek is one I've landed on. Second in a maiden, where the winner has come out and won a Group 2. And also third in a Group 1. So I think it's only a matter of time before this one's winning similar races, and I think he can get his nose in front.
No, I like it. I think they're two good selections there. Look at us globe trotting over to the US of A as if we know what we're talking about. Take it away, Joe. Have you got anything for Saturday, mate?
Do you know what, mate? I actually don't.
Can't believe it.
No, do you know what? I've tried I wouldn't say force things, but I've tried to sort of, pinpoint different things. And do you know what? I'm really keen on Silky Wilkie on the Saturday at 4 o'clock. I really think it's going to go well.
Well, mate, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I say, we're not ones to force the issue. We like horses that we like, and if you can't find one, there's no issue there. Silky Wilkie's a good price. If he bolts up, you never know. Could be a big day. Right, then we will move on to the Sunday. We've got about 6 races to get thrown in, and then we'll do sort of naps and next best of the weekend. And then we've got a special little segment where Joe and Rich are going to give us 5 horses to follow for the flat season. So we're looking forward to that, and we can't wait to hear what you've got. So we're going to start at Newmarket again, the 115, the Gordon Rich Stakes. obviously we're not at full 48-hour decks yet, so we'll go with what we've got at the moment. We don't really have any prices, but I'm sure we'll be able to pick some winners out of these with a bit of luck, and hopefully they'll all run. So have you got a selection for this race, Joe or Rich?
I was going to say Rich start and just blow my nose. I've got a bit of a cold.
Joe's got a cold, so I'm going to mute him while he does his business. And Rich, take it away, mate.
Adia wins. That's all you got. That's all you need. Basically, interrupted prep last year. Still ran credibly at Ascot, I thought. Striking note, Appleby said that he was the one he's most excited about for the season ahead. So, yeah, I'm quite keen on that. So, yeah, he just wins, doesn't he? Former Derby winner as well.
Yeah, like you say, it's one of them races. It's a small field. It's not one I've got a major opinion on. I think, Joe, this is one of the Sandown races, isn't it, that's been rescheduled? Is that right? No. Yeah.
Yeah,
so, Joe, have you got a selection for this one, mate? The 150.
Dahlia, didn't I? Hello?
Go on, mate. I muted you. Sorry, mate. Go.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Same as Rich, mate. Yeah, like Rich said there. Interrupted prep last season, but he still ran creditably. And I did fancy him for the other day when it sort of the meeting got knocked on the head. So, I'm back on him, probably be shortish price. And I can imagine all the Appleby followers, if you've watched his interviews, will probably pile in quickly. So if you're going to have a bet on Adia, I'd probably suggest backing it as soon as the market's open. That'd be nice.
Do you not think Matt will get anywhere near? I know you mentioned him the other day before it got called off.
No.
I would have had a Godolphin cap potentially for this podcast, and for the blue caps. Obviously, they're now selling them in the shop, but once I saw the prices, I thought, no, thank you.
What are the pricey?
Yeah, well, it was about. I think you're talking £33 with your delivery for a cap. He's just absolutely outrageous. But
it's a nice blue, though.
It would have been a nice cap to wear, but not for that price. Right, the 3 o'clock, the Dahlia Stakes. We've got the likes of Life in Motion, Prosperous Voyage with the Moonlight. I know we've done a few things on the trends again, Rich, so we might be able to mention a few in here on this race, but I'll let you take it away. Have you got a selection for the 3 o'clock? It might be similar to the one I've picked.
I've gone with the Moonlight as well. Like you say, the trends. I'll let you talk about them if you want. But yeah, multiple Group 2 winner in Meydan. Has run in Keeneland. Came second in a Grade 1. Has won at Newmarket in a listed race. So yeah, I think he's going to go well. One I'm going to mention is Alhassan. I think Jim Crowley's on him. Stepping up in class, but second and third in his last race, which he won, has also come out and won since. So potential there to improve, so maybe at an each way price. But yeah, with the Moonlight for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think with the Moonlight, like I say, we sort of gone through the trends. He hits pretty much all the trends. It was 11 out of 13. He won't mind the good ground, as we know. He's got Buick on. He's second in a Group 1 at Keeneland. He's got 2 Group 2 wins over at Meydan. I think the 1 mile, 1 furlong trip's his trip. I think it's perfect for him. And I think he's going to go real close. I know Prosperous Voyage, there was maybe an Astral Bow was the other two I maybe look at, but not really a price. Prosperous Voyage, similar price to with the Moonlight. I probably prefer with the Moonlight. And I know Astral Bow's an each way price. So he'd be my each way play at about 10 to 1 for maybe a couple of quid each way. But I think the main bet's going to be, the main selection's going to be, for me, is going to be with the Moonlight for with William Buick, Appleby. I think they're probably going to go and win this. And I think 3 to 1's actually a really good price. I think it could be quite big that on the day. What about you, Joe? Do you agree, or have you got something else?
I'm just going to... Can you see that?
Go on, what's it saying blind?
With the Moonlight, fit, ran well overseas and won last time in the UK at Newmarket, so handles the track. 1 mile 1, perfect. So literally everything that you have just said, I was going to repeat, to be fair, I was going to say before you. And to be honest, for me now, 3 to 1 is a price to grab because I'm not a great fan of Prosperous Voyage at all. Like Rich mentioned there, Alhassan is unbeaten and stepping up in class. But for me, I think the Godolphin horses were only ever going to bring this home for a race that it could win and win well. And I think they've had Newmarket in mind, as it was obviously the last time it ran in the UK was Newmarket, and it won by 4.5 lengths. And to win at Newmarket by 4.5 lengths, you must be some horse to do so.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it's a full house for with the Moonlight. So fingers crossed it can go and win. Right, the big race on the Sunday, obviously, the 1,000 guineas. At the moment, we've obviously got Tahira, I can't pronounce it, Tahira, Meditate, Mama's Girl, Dream of Love, Ramaki, Mars back in here. Who we're backing for the 1,000 guineas? Do we think the Irish runner's going to come over? So the Weld runner is going to come over? Rich, what do you think?
If she does, she doesn't win.
Yes.
Looking at the trends, only one of the last 12 favourites have won the race. So I'm staying well clear of that. Similar scenario with the top 3. Not a great return if you look back. So the 2 I've landed on, both ran the same race over in Meydan, and it's Morge and Dream of Love are the 2 that I've landed on. Morge won the race last time. Dream of Love made up loads of ground, had a terrible race. So has potential to reverse form. But Morge just done over 8 furlongs, course and distance at Newmarket. A big trend that I found was 12 of 12 winners have ran over the 8 furlongs before. So 100% Morge ticks that box. So I think it's a great each way shout. Dream of Love, again, has run over a mile at Newmarket, managed to finish 3rd. My only concern with this is that Doyle got off the horse and said that she became unbalanced coming out the dip. So I'm not 100% sure she handles the track as well as Morge potentially does. So that's why I'm favouring Morge over Dream of Love. But both good each way shots, in my opinion.
No, I like them both. Joe, do you agree with them, or have you got something else? I like them both each way. I think they're good shouts. By you, Joe?
I've got something else, mate. And do you know what? I'm pretty keen on this one, and I've mentioned it a few times, and I've had a few funny looks, but I'm pretty keen on Meditate here. Now, it's ran over the 8, and it looked very, very good over in Keeneland when it ran over the mile, and it won pretty easily. Now, I've watched a lot of Ian O'Brien and Ryan Miller's interviews after races and stuff, and they always mention Augusta Rodin. And they always mention the Derby in the same breath. Now, what I've found is with Meditate, they've always mentioned the 1,000 guineas in the same breath. And they always say, and this links to Rich's point as well, Meditate's a very, very, very well-balanced horse. Now, you're going to need that here because a lot of the horses are, not very well experienced. You might not get the perfect trip round here. Now, when Tahira beat it in over in Curra, it was soft ground over 7 furlong. Now, for me, that just does not suit Meditate at all. I was there at Ascot when it won over good ground, and that it was impressive that day. And when I watch the race back over in Keeneland, Ryan Miller rode with a lot of confidence. The question was, would he get the trip? I think that day they always knew he'd get the trip, and I think they took him there knowing that just to keep ticking him over so there's not a huge gap between his last run over in Ireland getting beat by Tahira on soft ground to come in here. And for that reason, I am pretty strong on Meditate. One I would give a mention to, but the price is gone now. But it was at a big price before it won, was Mama's Girl.
Yeah, I know Mama's Girl obviously beat one of our tips earlier in that week, didn't it? It beat Fairy Cross, which I thought was the winner all the way along. But I do agree with most of what you've both said. I think for me, Morge is probably the one I'm going to sort of side with. She obviously beat Fairy Cross quite convincingly in Meydan. And obviously Mama's Girl has then beat Fairy Cross, not by as much. So you could look at that sort of form line if you wanted to. She's obviously beat Dream of Love. I know Dream of Love got, like you say, a pretty treacherous run. But I do think she'll suit the ground and the track. I think if it don't rain too much, she obviously wants better ground. I think she performs a lot better on the better ground. So if it stays anywhere like it is, I think she's got a great chance. I'm not sure Tahira's going to run here. I think they obviously have her entered in the Irish equivalent to this. And I think with the forecast soft ground potentially in the rain, I think that's why they said they were going to go here. But I could potentially see her not winning here. So that'll be interesting. And that'll throw it all up in the air later on in the week. But I think, like I say, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Marge each way. You can still get around 12 to 1, 14 to 1, something like that. So I think it is a very open race, though. I think it's going to be tight, and it's going to be something that's going to have to be really special to win this. So, yeah, excited.
One thing I do think is quite interesting, though, in terms of Aidan's runners. It seems like all the runners he's got in these two races, they haven't ran for a while, have they? You know, I know obviously it's quite hard to get them in for a run at this very start of the season to prep them for now. But we've seen Chaldine had it was a gallop out in the end, wasn't it? But he was going to have a race. Meditate, Little Big Bear, and, well, I know there's a few others in there, never ending story, but your main ones, Meditate, Little Big Bear, who's had a bit of talk, and Augusta Rodin, have all had long layoffs.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's going to throw it out a little bit. You know, you just don't know how fit they all are. And obviously jockey bookings and things like that. But anything could win when it's these. I know obviously it's one of the biggest, the two classics of the season to kick us off. But with it being such an early season opener, a lot of these, like you say, haven't run. And how fit will they be? We'll soon find out, mate. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Right, we're going to do the last meeting of the week, and then we're going to do Leopardstown. There's 3 group races over there, and we're going to fly through these, and then we'll get on to finish with our 5 to follow. But we'll go for the 2:15, the Cornelscourt Stakes at Leopardstown. Has anyone got a selection in this? Have you had a look?
I've had a quick look. I landed on the risk if he runs. Basically, third last time out in bad ground. Potentially may have needed the run due to the ground. I think faded. Matt Sharp now. Was 4th in a Group 2 last season, so the potential's there. I just think if you can put it all together, then yeah, got a great chance.
I'll just jump in there because I do completely agree with Rich there. That's my selection as well. Third in the 1,000 Guineas trial at Leopardstown. I do think she got tired late on the heavy going, like you say, seemed to just take the steam out of her. She come looking like she was going to go and win quite easy, but just ran out of steam. And I think going forward, the better ground, a run under her belt. There's a lot in here that haven't run, and I think she's going to go and win this personally. So that'll be my selection, Zarinska as well. Take it away, Joe. Are you in agreement, or have you got something else?
In there, nothing major. I like Caroline Street actually. Comes second when I thought she could have probably beat Augusta Rodin over 1 mile. It was on soft ground, but really, really travelled well. Now Alda was in behind. That's come out and won. Serious Challenge is another good horse. Bull. And then Tower London was in that as well. So you've got a strong lineup there. Obviously, we don't know if they're going to run, do we, and whatnot. That's just a mention for me. And if it turns up, I will be backing. I think it's got a great chance in there.
Yeah, no, Caroline Street's got. I do think that's a little bit of a hidden gem in there. I think he's got a really good chance. So let's hope let's hope both of them run for a start. And if they do, I think we might have picked the winner. The next race, then the 250, the Amethyst Stakes. You've got a previous tip from us that one Buckaroo's entered in here, and a couple of other nice types. So, are you backing Buckaroo again, Joe? Or are you going against this time if he runs?
No, mate, I'm going again on Buckaroo. Obviously fit. I really like the way it battled last time, and I think it'll improve on that run as well. Obviously, the last time out, it had a break. It comes second at Leopardstown, and then it won over a mile. Now it's back over a mile here. So, it's run. It's good ground, which will suit better ground, and it'll be fit. Now, the day it comes second, it was against Pisbadale, who we know is a great yardstick and got good form. So, for me, that's the one I'll be choosing if it turns up. That's it, isn't it? If it turns up, it could be loading this up, and then by tomorrow, none of them are declared.
I know we've had a couple in the past where they've just not run, but it's just one of them. When you don't have the 40-hour decks, there's not much we can do, but it's just how it falls. But I'd definitely give the mention to Buckaroo. Like I say, you've said everything that needs to be said there. Has got a run under its belt, won quite beat on the songs pretty well, outstayed him, so obviously the trip here suits. He does look a stay, and I think moving into Group 3 company here, I think he'll make a good account of himself. And the only other one I quite like was Tarawa. It was a non-runner in the 1,000 Guineas trial. Obviously, I think that was to do with the heavy ground. So they've waited for this for a little bit better ground. Won a seven furlong maiden easily on soft. So, like I say, I won't mind it. Just doesn't want it too heavy. And the step up to a mile here, I think she's ready to go, can go close. And I think fitness might be the only issue for her, but hopefully she can go close off a 197-day break. But again, it's one of them. Buckaroo's probably got the fitness edge, so that'll probably be the main.
Just a little quick mention. Richard's probably want to meet to shut up so he can say what he wants about this race. But New Energy come second in the 2,000 Guineas last season. Buckaroo beat him by, I think it was 4.5 lengths. So, Buckaroo's got the beat with him. I think he's got some good form lines in there. What about you? What are you thinking, Rich?
If he runs, I'm landed on Tough Talk. In his maiden, he beat Little Big Bear, which obviously we know how good Little Big Bear is.
Good form line there, then.
Yeah, and in his second race, he finished second to Blackbeard, who's gone on to be a multiple Group 1 winner. So, yeah, if he runs, surely he's going to be... If he doesn't win this, he's going to win some group race later down the line. So, yeah, that's the one I've fallen on.
I really like that one. It's not one I actually had a chance to look at, but from what you've said there, I think that sounds like it's got a really good chance.
Yeah, he's getting a bit of weight as well. He's a 3-year-old, isn't he? And Buckaroo's 4, so he's getting quite a lot of weight. Sorry, from Buckaroo. Anyway, like I say, it's if the race will be a good race if them two turn up.
It certainly will. Fingers crossed they all turn up, and it will be a cracking race on a Sunday. So the last race we'll do on the Sunday before we do the 5 to follow is the Derby Trial Stakes, the 325 at Leopardstown. I've got a selection in this, but what I'll do is I'll just kick us off a little bit because it's one of them where we've got about 13 entered and 8 of them are we've got O'Brien in the trainer's name, whether it's him, Joseph, or Donica. So we've been looking at some of the trends, and Aidan O'Brien has sort of won 5 out of the last 6 renewals of this. 3 of them were short price favourites, Stone Age being the one last time out. So I think you're better off sort of looking at the O'Brien runners, but obviously 9 times out of 10 they're going to be quite short. But the only other thing that sort of throws it out a little bit is that 10 out of the last 13 winners ran within the last 36 days, and pretty much all of Aidan O'Brien's runners don't fit that. They're all off long layoffs. So I'm sort of going to take them on this time round. And the one that I've landed on is a horse called Up and Under. And it's trained by Joseph, so hopefully he can get one over on his dad. But he stood out for me. He was second in the Ballysacks on heavy ground. Was bumped and sort of short of room, carried right a little bit, but stayed on and come second. Obviously, he beat the well-touted Alexandropolis, if I pronounce that right, in that race. I think if he's come on for that run and without any sort of interference, I think Up and Under is probably going to go quite close. So that's my selection, Joseph O'Brien. And fingers crossed he can beat his dad. Have you got anyone got a selection in this? Have you managed to have a look?
Again, it was one that it was picking O'Brien horse, and the one I picked was Continuous. But whether or not he runs, who knows? The only reason I landed on this, unbeaten, went over to France and won over there. So I think any horse that goes overseas must be half decent, whether that's France, America, wherever. So yeah, that's the reason why I've gone for that one.
Nice one, Joe. What about you, Joe?
For me, I've landed on Proud and Regal. It looks like he's wanted the step up in trip for a while. Now, he ran over 7 furlong and he beat a few good ones, and he beat some of Aiden's. And then he got sent to St. Cloud and he won over a mile. I'm just getting it up here. I had it written down, but I can't find it. That was it. He comes second to Al Riffa by 1 1/4 lengths, and he beat, I know he's not sort of franked that, but Aesop's Fables, Shartash, Hans Andersen, and he was always staying on that day, and he always seemed to run on well. Then they took him over to France, and he led the final strides over a mile. I think 1 mile 2 is perfect here. And do you know what? Pretty sweet if he ran here.
Well, that's also a good selection. Like I say, it's a case of who's going to turn up. Fingers crossed at least one of our selections turns up and wins, but I do think it's going to be a good race. again, depends which O'Brien runners turn up. But I'm happy that 2 of us are taking him on after he's won the last 5 out of the last 6. So it'll be interesting. Right, that's all the ones we're going to go through and preview. I hope you've enjoyed all them.
I've just got a mention for Sunday, if that's all right.
Oh, sorry. Anything else for Sunday then? Go on.
Just a quick one. Salisbury, 15.55. Troon is one I like. One to check out. Won his last race, where 2nd, 3rd and 4th have all come out and won since. So the form's been backed. And he should be winning. Just a quick mention there.
I like it. Have you got anything else for Sunday, Joe? Or are we moving on to the 5 to follow?
No, I don't, mate. Move on to the ones to follow, I think.
So I've asked Joe and Rich with their intelligence on the flat to come up with 5 horses to follow for the season. So seeing as Rich gave us one for Sunday, I'm going to let Joe go first and name his 5 to follow. What are your 5 to follow for the flat season to come, Joe? Let's hear him, mate.
So, disappointingly, but I still think this one has a lot of speed and a lot left to give. The first one I'm going to give is Bradsell. Now, we're written this down before it lost last day. And like I say, it went a 1 to 500 in running. Now, for me, I think Holly's gone too early. The horse had a long layoff. You know, it was injured. She should have kept hold of it for a bit longer. But she never. I think there's more to come. Now, my main one, and it's one from USA, and it's a Wesley Ward horse, is American Rascal. Now, I don't know if you watched it. It was very, very impressive when it won. Now, Wesley Ward, he's not a shy guy. He'll say when he has a horse and he thinks he has a good horse, especially for Ascot, and he normally takes his best ones to Ascot, and he keeps mentioning this one in the same breath as Royal Ascot. So that's another one. Obviously, Augusta Rodin is one to follow. Aidan said he could win the 3 classics. I think he definitely could. His main target, I know it's no secret, is the Derby. So I do believe if he wins on Saturday, he could, he surely will go even money, if not even closer in. I've got one tomorrow, which I had a strange message for about 2 hours ago. I didn't realise it was running tomorrow, is Soprano. It's been well backed. It runs in the Fillies race tomorrow. And they're saying it's a very well-balanced horse. And it, without giving too much away, it should go and win easy tomorrow. They really like this one. They've got William Buick on. It's a Bowie horse. And they're pretty confident. And the last one I'm going to give it's pretty obvious, but I'm so confident for him this weekend, is Meditate. I think the step up in trip's going to unleash a new horse here, and there was runs last season that didn't really suit him, like the 7 furlong in Ireland, soft ground. That was never going to suit him after he'd bolted up over the 7 on good to firm at Royal Ascot. I was there that day. Aidan said he loved the conditions. And then he runs over there on soft. He'd had a hard sort of first year of running, so I can forgive him on that. And then when he was over in Keeneland over the mile, I just thought he looked like a new horse. He settled better. He travelled better. He looked more at ease, where at Ascot, Ryan Moore had to get to work early to get him up to the speed, where I thought there he went through the gears nicely and he found some more. So they are my 5 to follow, but my main one to follow is American Rascal. Obviously, it won't be easy with it being running in America, but if you can get it in your trackers and watch it when it runs, I'm sure it'll pay dividends.
Nice one, Joe. I like all them 5. I do quite like American Rascal. I think, like you say, Royal Ascot's going to be the main target for that one. But I do like all them, and I think you won't go wrong backing them through the season. Go on then, Rich. Let's have your 5 to follow to finish us off, mate.
Yep. So the first one I've got is Maldoom for William Haggis. I don't know if you saw the race in the St James's Palace.
Oh, I'm screaming at my
It was horrible.
Get out, could he?
No, it's a race that he should have won. He's a Group 1 winner in the making. He should always be a Group 1 winner in my eyes. But yeah, potentially last season he was the best 3-year-old miler. So yeah, I think he's going to be winning some big races this year. The second one I've gone for is Emily Dickinson for Aidan O'Brien. I think stayer. She looked like a stayer last season, running some good races with some good company. I think she finished 5th in the St Ledger. But I think the further she goes, the better she is. And and with the star stayer Kyprios out until the back end of the season, I think she's got Ascot Gold Cup written all over her, to be honest. She likes heavy ground. They've got Broome, but I still don't think he's a proper stayer, so this is why Ascot Gold Cup, I think, is going to be her main target. Emily Dickinson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's one to keep on side with, at least until Kyprios comes back. I think she's going to win some big staying races. The next one I've gone for, it was a split between this and another one of the same ownership. So I went for Laurel, but I thought the also one I'm looking at was a rest. But I went for Laurel. Basically, she had one run at Kempton, and then 10 days later, the owner decided to pay a fee to run the Sun Chariot, which then she finished second, and was just heading the last 50 furlongs. So that was only her third start out, so I think there's still more to come from her. And yeah, again, potentially Group 1s are just lying in wait. So that was that one. The other two are from Godolphin, from the Appleby Yard.
Need the cap for this.
I do need the cap. I do like an Appleby Buick combination. So we'll start with Measured Time is the fourth one that I've gone for. It's one Appleby mentioned as his dark horse to follow for the season. Only had the one run, but they won the maiden by four lengths, and the second has come out and won twice already. So the form is pretty strong. So that's that to keep an eye on. And the last one, Silver Lady, who ran a couple of weeks back, I thought was very impressive. Superstar parents in my eyes, the Beckham of the horse racing family. See the Stars by Luminaire. She overcame Guineas to win at Newmarket, so she handles the dip. That's no problem. Appleby's come out and said the Coronation Stakes is probably going to be a target for the season, so she's a bit anti-post. I'd probably get on that. And yes, Appleby said she's more about speed than distance, so potentially the sprints to look out for this season potentially may step up later on, but yeah, she's all speed. And yeah, they're my top five.
Brilliant.
I love it. I think they're all 10 of them have got real good chances, and I hope you've all managed to put them into your trackers. I've not done it obviously because I don't know as much as you guys, but the only one I'd maybe mention is one that run the other day at Ascot, the filly, Queen for You. I thought she won quite well with Murphy on board. She beat one I put up as a tip, and she absolutely battered him, to be fair.
You're not sticking Vauban in on the flat when he comes over from your jumps?
I don't think Vauban's got any chance of winning anything. I think he might run. Obviously, he's going to run a couple of. The horse I want to see on the flat is Constitution Hill. I think he wins an Ascot Gold Cup on the bridle. To be honest, I don't know why they don't try it, because I think he'd be a superstar in both codes, and that would be something to see. I think that all the flat trainers would be a bit gutted if he come over, but. No, I think that's pretty much it. I think there's good 10 forces to follow there, so get them stuck in your tracker. And hopefully we picked a lot of winners for the weekend to come. Obviously, Rich, it's been a pleasure having you on. But what we're going to finish with, we're going to finish with our naps and next best. I nearly forgot then. So give us your nap for the whole weekend, obviously out of the selections. Joe, finishes off with your nap, mate. Or do next best. Give us your next best and we'll do naps after.
Right, so my next... But I've written it down. My next best of the festival will be With the Moonlight, 3:00 on Sunday at Newmarket.
Rich, what about your next best?
Little Big Bear in the big race.
Ooh.
Whoa. My next best is going to be Manacan in the 4:00 at Newmarket on the Saturday. And Joe, your nap of the weekend.
Nap of the weekend, bit boring. It is tomorrow, Native Trail. It should be shorter, by the way. It would not surprise me if he got hammered in tomorrow.
Interesting. Rich, your nap for the weekend?
Mine was the same, but my second, I was going to say Adiyar, but again, I don't think it'd be any sort of price. But yeah, no. Adiyar or Native Trail.
To be honest, I think Native Trail should be odds on here. I think I'm going to load up on him.
Do the double. Won't let you down.
Yeah. We need the cap. We need the cap.
If one of them wins, you'll have to get the cap.
If Native Trail wins tomorrow, the next podcast, I'll be wearing the blue cap. There you go.
We'll hold you to that.
If the double wins, I'll get one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. If it wins, I'm not getting one. If it loses, you both have to half my cap. You have to get me one if it loses. My nap of the weekend is going to be, and I just had it up there, and I forgot it already, so it can't be that good. I'm going to go for up and under on the Sunday, the 325, the one at Leopardstown. I'm going to nap up and under for the weekend. Right, lads, that's everything. So I really enjoyed that today. Hopefully we've not rambled on for too long. And if you have listened all this way through, please do like and subscribe. If you must like us if you've listened for this long. But like I say, we've got plenty more to come in the flat season. We're going to have loads more videos up. So do watch and hopefully we'll pick some winners. We'll put the tips up on the selections on Twitter as the weekend goes along. But yeah, I've really enjoyed tonight. So final word, Rich, have you enjoyed being on tonight?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, bring it on. Bring on the flat.
The flat is back.
Let's
Joe,
have it.
final word, mate.
No, just the words of the flat is back and I'm buzzing. I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's like Christmas Eve.
The Guineas weekend has arrived. Right, we're going to finish off there and we'll see you all next time. This has been the final flight. Goodbye, Rich. Goodbye, Joe. And thank you for listening.
See you later.
Goodbye.
I'll see you next time.
Bye.